What was I doing? Okay, I'm back. Errands are done. Sorted out what I had to sort out. Got some lunch. I'm good. Let's get drawing. Good spot. And it's also something that catches us. Sorry, Jimmy forgetting that the driver's side's on the opposite side is something that catches me out when I go overseas all the time, and I've got plenty of experience with it. It's worse when it's even worse when you travel around Europe, because the main part of Europe is the same as the US, but if you go to England, it's the same as Australia. So it's like you can go from like one flight to the next like an hour's difference, and it's like, oh nope, different side of the road. And then Japan's the same side as here as well. Wow, a bunch of people showed up. I honestly thought that no one would be around. Well, apart from like 2 people maybe. That's awesome. Welcome back. What, the boot of a car? Yeah. Yeah, we know that the what the trunk and the hood and all that stuff is, because we grow up and we see a lot of American stuff. So yeah, I think for anyone outside of America, it's a lot more expected. I just think there's a lot of, what I'm trying to say is, there are a lot of people who do not have any experience outside of their own country. Like, they've not seen TV from other places. Which is kind of interesting. Because it was always one of the things that we were just like, yeah, well, you know, we're Australian and we've grown up on English TV and American TV, and we have a passing knowledge of a lot of stuff. Still, lots of stuff that like Americans will talk about that just I have no idea what they're talking about, and it's like this shared experience. Like, no idea what that is. That wasn't talked about on television. Usually stuff like store brands and ads you've seen, which is fair enough. That's just. It's a very strange rant for me, I'm sorry. But also, it is one of the things that led to Ty being so very Australian. Yeah, that was the whole point of Ties. Like, getting people to learn, like getting a whole generation of kids to speak Australian, and Blue's taking that one step further, which is awesome. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot's such a weird one too. With the it's an Australian critter, but it's not. It's that whole, and I'm guilty of this as well, to be honest. Crash Bandicoot is designed as a cartoon character with a name stuck on it. I mean, Ty wasn't designed that way, but Ty was just designed as like, here's a cool design, and it's, I know what a Tasmanian tiger is like, so here's some elements from a Tasmanian tiger. But Crash Bandicoot is like, bandicoots are related to bilbies. They're not like. That's kind of why we made the bilbies the collectibles, because it's like, yeah, you can get the Crash Bandicoot and rescue him. Basically, is the gag. I should have knew that, or intoned it. And I remember there was one E3 when we were doing Ty, I think, I don't know, about 2005, and they were going to they had a Crash Bandicoot video playing. There hadn't been any Crash games in ages. I think they were planning on doing some new stuff. No, it might have been earlier than that, because it was before we talked to the Crash people. And like he was talking, he had this American accent, and it was like, what? Why does he have an American accent? Isn't he supposed to be a Bandicoot? Yeah. No, I'm not going to draw the rang in it. I might change it later. We'll leave it as a surprise. Did you guys ever want to incorporate more of the Aboriginal mythology in the guys such as the Banjo? We had a lot in the first game, but there was the way I worked it. There was sort of different themes for each of the games, so that whereas the first game it was that outback, rustic, and then the spirituality of the the early Aboriginal mythology stuff, like the rainbow scales and the bunyips and all that sort of stuff. Because that's stuff that I grew up, ironically, not even Aboriginal, but there was a thing in the 70s where there was a book series by David Galpalo, who was telling all these Aboriginal myths and stuff. And I think in the 80s, there was a TV series that was telling the same legends in a kind of animated style. And one of the guys in my animation course was doing some similar sort of stuff. But yeah, the Tai Chi then became more about the more, not like city life, but more town, urban-y sort of part of Australian environment. Tai 3 went back to the kind of, it was a weird one because we were just wanted to get some sort of more mystical, generic stuff that you could kill, and that came with the Quinken, but it was kind of, I kind of ignored the story now. That was like a weird sidestep that didn't quite work the way I wanted to. There's also the first version of Tai 4, Gunyep, was another weird sidestep that's had some good elements in it, but it would have been people would have had me drawn and quartered if I'd made that game, I think, even though it would have been great, or potentially could have been great. It wasn't a Thai platformer, and people would have just hated that. And I just had that feeling we were making. It's like, because we were 4 games in at this point, we wanted to do something different because we've been doing that Thai for 5 years, 6 years. That was the whole push to do Gunyep. But no, future games I don't want to delve into it as much. I don't think it needs to be there. Because I'm more interested in the characters in the sort of bush rescue circle of things. Like those characters and the whole towny thing of Baramudji and Coolaranga and just the character stuff is much more interesting now. So I want to push that in future games. There is sort of pretend mystical stuff, but it's not so heavily steeped in legends and stuff. It's where the Thai universe diverges from ours. Let's put it that way. But if you haven't, I would urge you to look up any books on, I don't know what, I don't know what there's been the last 20 years, but look up any books on Aboriginal mythology and stories, the Dreamtime stories. There's fantastic stuff there. There's I'm just sure there's a whole bunch of books and stuff that this was like 50 years ago. So there's probably much more stuff. Yes, go look it up. You'll love it. You hit that? You want to change the TV? Put it on watch. Sorry for that. The boss was yelling at me to change the channel on his TV. Here's a fun one for you. There is no Sydney Brisbane in my version of Australia. You go from Southern Rivers, Barramudgee and Coolangatta, and then you go to the Big Smoke, which is the big city. Which is the Big Smoke is the term for the big city in like slang. So yeah, the capital of the Thai Australia is the Big Smoke. That's one of the things from Thai Gunyip that I'm definitely keeping. Let's say that. I was going to say, I say I'm keeping stuff, but it's like, look, beyond the game stuff, it's not up to me anymore, as far as I'm concerned. It's a group thing? That's not the best term for a group. It's not a committee either. There are more people involved, so there's more voices that need to get heard. But in the comic, I can do whatever the hell I want. So I will. Wait, is that a meow like a catty me thing? Because that's fair enough. Yes, I would agree with that. Oh, you're a cat girl. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that works. Or is Los Angeles still Los Angeles in California and it's owned by Mexico like it used to be? And Texas. I don't know, I'm just making up stuff. There was, here you go, here's a little story for you. So once we signed, the first time we signed up Ty as a TV show, well, we were pitching it with Phil Norman. We were at E3 and some guys from Nelvana came up to us and said, "You got anything else? We've heard about Ty. Have you got any other things for shows?" And we pulled out Bill and Squeaver, which was going to be Bill and Squeak. Dennis, would you like to see some of the Bill and Squeaver stuff? Because I've got it somewhere. course, where is a different question. Yes, Southern Rivers is just part of Australia. And yes, R.I.P. Nelvana, who did the most amazing Star Wars Holiday special animated cartoon bit with Boba Fett, which rocked my life as a kid. Do I have... That's new TY TV pictures. No, that would be there. Storage. TY. Show me what you got. He's a big cheat. I don't need to redraw him. There. How does that look for a page? Well, the problem is that's done. That's done. I don't have the next page ready to go. Damn it. Looks like I'm done for pages. So I had to work out the last page, which I don't have worked out how I was going to end it. You got me to try mine from scratch. Let me get my script up. I got to work out how to... Yeah, you know what? I probably can. I know what I need to say. I'm thinking. Probably can. Let's work it out. It's only a couple of panels I need to finish off. Maybe I'll just lay it out. Right. Sorry, I'm looking for stuff. Bear with me. Wow, that's some old shit. Well, here you go. Hang on. Here's something I've never seen before. Well, I have, but not for 25 years. Here we go. So it looks like these are roughs for like menu layout stuff I did for Taiwan. Wow. There you go, that's old. But that's not what I'm looking for. I am looking for Girl and Squeaver stuff. Ooh. Probably not there. Reference that, there we go. Oh, okay, I can't find it. There you go. Well, I'll look for it next time we do a stream. I know I've got them. I don't throw anything away. If you've seen my hash, you'd understand. They are sitting around. I'm just not sure which drive they're on. I have a lot of drives over the last 40 years of doing stuff. Hard drives. I'm going to have my first hard drive, PC. I don't have any of those ones. Probably got like 30 years worth of hard drive stored stuff around the place. I know there was a drive that had like storage of all the promo stuff, which that's where the Bill and Screamer would be. Oh, is it this one? No, I was looking at that one. Are they in TY 2? No, they're not. That's funny, I would have thought they were there. Oh, wait a minute. No, that wouldn't be it. Let's get some Gun-Yip. I think the Gun-Yip build. Okay, no, okay. I will do another page to make up for making you sit around and listen to me try and find stuff. So I need to go back to Ty Comic. Pages, issue 3, page 7. We're going to say there's page 8. This is the last page. This is how I set up a new page. I just copy it and go, yep, that's it. Get rid of all this. Make sure that's the right page. Page 8. We're going to get rid of the gutters. Now you're going to see how I make up a movie on the spot. Not movie, comic page. Blue line for the background. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's a problem. Oh, I screwed up. So yeah, I've updated it, but... Is that one here? I have it. So page 8 should be page 7. Let's not do that one yet. No. No, you're not paying attention, screwing things up. Page 7 exists, replace. Yep. Alright, now I can go back to the other one. Right, so this is page 8. This is the one we don't want stuff on. We get rid of the stuff. Alright, now we're ready to roll. See, you lose points for not paying attention. That's it, I'm thirsty and I need to get a drink before I start. Are we all ready? Oh wait, how did Snoopy get into this comic? The ZZZ is a callback to a gag that I didn't put in the first page, but I've got to go in and add in again. Which I'll do now before I forget. Fix the rest of it up later. Yep, that's the joke. It's not a great joke, but it's a joke. Sometimes you're just going to try something that doesn't work and then you got to scrap it. Oh, take a break to read the chat. Judy definitely feels a lot like the youngest of the team with their boundless energy. Even if the age difference isn't much difference between her and Tasha. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. New kid, new experience. So she's like, oh, I'm excited. Don't worry, life will take that out of her. Today I learned marsupials originated from the Americas. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm guessing it's from the Gondwana days when everything was a lot closer, but it makes sense that South America is like the Americas. I'm amazed we got this much done today. Oh, I got like about 10 minutes of energy left. I just feel like, oh no, my energy's running out. Come on, undo. Thank you. How many iterations did it take to get the final artwork? It depends on how tricky the thing I'm drawing is. Like, if it's a different angle and stuff, it can take me a couple of goes to go around. Other times it's like, I could probably ink it off the rough sometimes. But I think I usually do about, what have we got for this? There's usually a rough layer, the pencils, and then I'll do an ink. So the minimum would probably be 3. 4 if you count the thumbnails. It's, yeah. I used to use tracing paper, not tracing paper, but this very thin paper called bank paper. And these cheap pads. And I would draw on one layer, rip that page off, put it underneath the page underneath that, use like a kind of light table thing, and then draw over that. So working with this works the same kind of way I used to work. But if I want it to look good, yeah, 3, 4 is probably at the right number. Because each time you go over it, you sort of pick up, okay, that line should be there, if you're thinking about it properly. And you can treat it like you're drawing with a pen, and you don't undo stuff, and you got to think about your lines better. And that's less lines, I guess. Like, you know, if I didn't go over this again, I would have missed the fact that his tail is growing out of the ground. I don't know where that's coming from. This is the original sketch for it. And his butt's up here. Here it should be. So yeah, the more times you do it, the more chance you have to catch mistakes. I don't want to do the car today. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm kind of tired now. Old man is kicking in. Oh, what's that, Archie? Just think we should take a break. A parcel has been delivered. When will that happen? She must be outside. At least we worked out last week that I've got the 3D model for the car, so I can draw that in pretty easily, which is good. So I can do that. That'll be next week's thing. We're doing good. We got a lot done. I am like 2 weeks ahead. No, I'm not 2 weeks ahead because I added 2 pages. So it would have been finished this week on the last page of the story, but I added 2 pages. But we got, you know, got to admit, like, I'm pretty happy with the pages I did. And we got that one. And we got with the big spider thing crashing over the thing. And then we got the boss castle-like reveal. And then we got not that one. Big action final shot of the episode where they freeze frame as the car's in midair. So yeah, lots of progress. That's good. I'm behind but ahead. So join me next week for more. Probably won't be too. Well, we'll see how we go. Sorry, I'll stop and think. I was going to say that we don't know if we're going to have 2 streams next week. Depends how I feel. Felt good today, so I got a lot done, and it was cold, wet outside, so we'll see how we go. Next week, definitely the morning one. Thanks for joining me, and I'm going to go find where the off button is now and then have a nap. Thanks, though, guys. See you later.